What if I told you there's a way to have AI do tech support even better than I could, better than anyone on your team could? And I was pretty skeptical because while I use AI every single day, I am not always the biggest fan of how it problem solves things. But then Airtable released its AI platform just a little bit ago, and the results shocked me because I didn't have to do anything different. I literally just took my documentation that I've already been building, I put it in the AI, and I started asking questions. And not only did it get the right answer, it also understood the snapshot that I had built better than I did. It told me some things that I had forgotten about, and it even figured out an alternate way of doing things. And I'm going to show you how that works. So I'm going to just jump in here into AI. Into the AI, I'm going to ask, what is the onboarding steps for the Business Essentials snapshot? We're going to just let the AI think for a little bit. It's going to do its thing. So what you're seeing is it's starting to pull all of the different records that have to do with my question. So it scanned through the entire snapshot, the whole Airtable base. It went through every single one of these table fields, and it realized that, yeah, it's got to get the onboarding steps. And so what it did is it got those exact steps. That's pretty cool, but we're not even done yet. Take a look at this. Can the Business Essentials snapshot do Can it do any long-term nurture sequences? And how would a user set that up? Let's give it a more complicated question. So again, it's going to tell me that, hey, yes, there is a long-term nurture. There is a 52-week nurture campaign, and it's going to tell me about that. It's even going to tell me the setup process. It's going to tell me that, hey, to use it, I got to add contacts to the 52-week nurture. It's going to tell me that the system automatically places contacts into the current week of the campaign. It's telling me that, hey, by the way, they have to have this one marketing tag. There has to be this tag that's added for it. And it's even giving me some other information it found, like a best practice on how to use the opt-in form. But also looked at, hey, look, that there's a newsletter system here. We have some RSS content. So it actually thought of all of the different things, it's not just the one thing I was looking for, right? Because there is a 52-week was what I was thinking of. But it looked through all of my documentation and found anything that could possibly relate to that, right? Some other options for you. This is really useful because if you've been documenting your snapshots, if you've been writing things down and how it works, and if you've been putting it into some sort of database like Airtable, without having to do any extra work, you don't need to set up N8N, you don't have to figure out some other server thing, you don't even need to know what an MCP is. I don't even really know. It's something to do, I really just don't know. And I don't really want to know because all I want to do is I want to take my documentation, put it into Airtable, and now the AI will tell me everything I need to know. So let's put in some more real world examples too. Let's throw at it like a technical support question. What's something that might happen? I added a contact to a newsletter tag, but they are not receiving the newsletter when I send it out. Let's see what it does with that. All right, there's several reasons why a contact might not be receiving newsletters despite having a newsletter tag. Let's check the required tags and permissions. Verify the contact has both the E06 newsletters tag and the corresponding subscription preference set to yes. So this is really important because it knows just by saying, hey, that there's a problem with the newsletter, make sure that it has both that tag and that subscription preference, right? So that's pretty cool. Verify subscription system settings. So it says there's multiple permission types. So those are the different lists that you can have. And it even says, hey, to test the system, it's going to pull the test cases that I've written down. So there's a whole bunch of part of my process is saying, hey, you need to write down the tests. It found the tests that you can use to test it, and it'll explain how it is. And you can even just click there. This is like a summation of it. But if you want to, you can click on it and it'll pull up the full test, all the extra information that's needed. One of the tests that I did a while ago that actually blew me away was when I asked it, hey, how can I send a newsletter, or how do I set up the newsletter system in the snapshot for an account? And it didn't just tell me how to set up the newsletter module, but it did all that. But then it also said, hey, by the way, there's also this 52-week email campaign that works kind of like a newsletter that you can use. So that was where I realized that, hey, this AI is better than I am. And I think what the best part about all this is that by following just some very simple documentation practices, Airtable allows you to have access to an AI. But one caveat, this is just more for your internal team. I wouldn't say you'd be able to get your clients to use this, but you probably wouldn't want an AI giving tech support anyway, because there's sometimes a AI, just like everything else, can give either maybe not the wrong information, but it might give too much information, or it might miss some nuance. So what this is really powerful for is taking your team who might not have all of the snapshots memorized, right? Especially if you have either a big snapshot, or you have like 5 or 6, or maybe you have like 10 snapshots. Not everyone's going to be able to memorize how every snapshot works. So having your documentation in an AI like this allows them to very quickly find out what's going on. And of course, this is only useful if you actually document things, because AI is not at the spot where it can just read high-level accounts yet. I'm sure someone way smarter than me is doing that already, but this is something that all of us masses have access to. So how do you guys get started? Well, the first thing is you're going to want to take the free course that I have. It teaches about how to plan, build, and manage your snapshots or your client accounts at scale. And in there, I talk about documentation, the very basics to get going. The second thing you're going to need is Airtable. And you could just start going and building all of the fields yourself, or you can get my Snapshot Manager Pro, which is free in my monthly membership system, where I teach all of the stuff about how to use and how to plan and how to build snapshots at scale, go into the deeps of how do you organize a team. And in there, I give the Snapshot Manager Pro template away free, and I keep it updated as well. As High Level adds more types of assets, as it adds more features, I keep that documentation tool up to date with the latest and greatest, so you're never behind. And once you take that Airtable, you follow all the videos and you document your snapshots. That's it. That's all you have to do. Document your snapshots in the Airtable, follow the process. I'm there to help all you guys out. We have a whole community of people who are learning to do this and getting some results with this. And I think it'll be really awesome there. So let me know what you think, and hopefully see you guys in the community.